Hi, Marcus.
What's up?
Listen, I'm at home.
I as well. Well, what are your thoughts about today was supposed to be the day that everybody kind of like that got not necessarily released, but like everybody was supposed to like be able, like, the stay-at-home order was lifted today.
Oh, I thought you meant like prisoners or something. Well, kind of, but um,
What do you
well,
think it's too early or anything?
yes,
You do? Go ahead. Let
yes.
me hear your thoughts.
Well, even my chiropractor, who's like in the medical profession,
Uh-huh.
she thinks it's too early. So, um, I just think that if we lift everything and we just all start hanging out, commingling, it's going to be like the outbreak monkey.
Yeah.
So there
I
has
never
to
seen that
be,
movie, but I know the like general thought
yeah,
behind it.
I think there just has to be um, a process to it. And I think that's what they're working on. So hopefully they get it right.
Yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, we already know that like mad people was getting like fired from the administration that shouldn't have been fired,
Uh-huh.
much like the dude who was actually like leading the research team for all of this. He got fired. I forgot his name, but he got fired
The
because
doctor?
not that doctor dude.
Oh, somebody else.
Somebody else. He got fired because he disagreed with Trump's like action plan or something like that. He fired him. And I was like, that's not how this works.
It's not how it works. It's called opinions. We all have them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why we have a podcast. That's
Yeah.
why, everybody has opinions. So if he's like a bully in school.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just firing people.
He's like, you don't like me, you have to go.
Yeah.
Big
Like, I
baby.
like ketchup. We don't like ketchup over here.
Nope.
You're
Nope.
fired.
You're fired.
You're fired.
Maybe he
he
is
treats he treats being the
apprentice.
president. Yeah, I was just saying, he
Uh-huh.
treats it like it's the apprentice,
Uh-huh.
just
He's
firing
like,
everybody.
you're fired.
He's having too much fun with this. I can't even. I can't.
How
I
come
feel like he
why does
should
he
be.
get to fire everyone?
I don't know. I didn't even know you could just fire people like that, honestly.
Me either. Huh.
But like, he's definitely just like, you leave. Okay, you as well. Your time to go. I don't even like the way your shirt looks. You can get out of here. Like, oh, you're black. Oh, you shouldn't have been here in the first place. Um,
Pretty much. Yep. Mm-hmm.
no, yeah, I was just like, that's crazy.
It is
Nevertheless,
crazy.
though, yeah. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Welcome to Unapologetically Human, live from Zoom, quarantine status.
I'm sick of Zoom. I
Yeah,
appreciate Zoom. I'm just
I
kind of
appreciate Zoom for
sick
what
of
it
it.
is. Except for with my Bible studies, like, I have they give me a time limit, and they weren't
Oh,
doing it at first, and like they randomly was just like, oh nigga, you got 40 minutes and that's it. I was like, what?
like,
Like, you gotta wait for people to get on, and then you gotta actually start. Like, it takes some, you need some time. They
mhm.
just disrespectful. Never mind
I don't
though.
like late Zoom attendance. Like, that's annoying. I
You
mean,
gotta let people in.
if there are a lot of people like, you're late, you're fired. You're late, you're fired. So, no, that's annoying. Like, Ellison's teacher was late, so nobody could get
Mhm.
in. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why do you schedule something, especially like a Zoom call where you have
Mhm.
to be there at a certain time, and then you just are like,
Hey, man.
what are you doing? You know what I mean? There's nothing. You got nothing.
Nah, yeah.
Better be going to the
The
bathroom.
late Zoom jump ins are definitely frustrating. They're more frustrating. Oh, in my dance classes, when they just jump in randomly, and I gotta
They're
like
like,
start over. They're trying to like catch up, and they jump. I'm like, all right, yeah, back from the top. You put your hand here. You're gonna bring your elbow up. You're gonna bring it down. Like,
ugh, I would not like to teach dance like that. Ugh.
it's kind of frustrating, but I like just being at home. I'm not gonna fake it.
You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not. If I had a studio in my house, like, I wouldn't trip. But
Right.
you know.
But you don't.
But yeah, we're unapologetically human. The podcast,
Mm-hmm.
favorite podcast, because we be
Yes.
podcasting out here in these streets. All right.
Kind
Um,
of.
I am right, kind of. I am
I
Marcus.
am Mandy.
I almost said I am Mandy,
You can,
and
whatever.
I
It's
was
fine.
like,
There,
I'm
people be
gonna
like,
just
huh?
start changing my name. I am
I
Kareem.
am. People are like, wait, what? Hmm.
They got a whole new team. I
They
am
do.
Kareem, and
They sound the same, but
we are here. Nah, yeah. I think this whole process of everything is crazy. Like I was watching the
mhm.
news, and they were talking about how stuff is opening, and like some business owners are like, "Yeah, it's time. It's time to open back up." And I was like,
Okay.
"Your checkbook is looking a little scarce right now." He's like, "Yo, we we need to open these hoes up." We
Hmm. Yeah, but then everybody's gonna get. They say another wave is gonna come, and then maybe even
yeah.
another one like around Christmas time. Which, Merry
Hmm.
Christmas.
I mean, I don't know. Every time I go to the park, because I be going to the park to run. You know that. I go to the park like early in the morning to go run, but not. I try to be early,
Yeah, this
but
wasn't early today.
today it was like what 10 or 11 or something
It's
like
like
that.
11. Because
Yeah.
I went for a run around 11 with Harper. Mm-mm.
Yeah. It wasn't mad people out. But I definitely like people would just be like crossing each other, like like it's a normal day, just like.
Hmm. Yep.
I'd be going all the way into the grass waiting for people. I'd be like, yo, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead. They'd be like, what? No, 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 no.
You're like,
Mm-mm,
no. Mm-mm.
no. Because if you
Yep.
cough on me, I'm gonna kill you. All right. I'm just letting you know this now.
Kill
Mm,
you. I do sometimes like the paranoia sets in. I'm like, what if somebody just was like trying to get people sick? Because you've heard about that, and like you walk
mhm.
by them, and they're like, you'd be like, ah!
Yeah. You gotta piece them up with the smooth piece up too. Don't make
Uh-huh.
it noticeable in the part. You just gotta punch them in the stomach, follow up with an elbow to the jaw.
And then
Just
go.
make it smooth.
Nobody's gonna help anyway, because nobody wants to
No.
get near anybody.
I was thinking about that yesterday. The other day, I went to go get some food, right?
Hmm.
And I sped there because I thought they was finna close. And my mom had already ordered the food and paid for it and everything. So I sped there. I got there, turned the car off, got the food, got back in the car, tried to start my car, wouldn't start. I was like,
Oh, for
I'm
the
finna
love
be
of God.
stuck here. I'm just about to be because I need to replace my spark plugs.
Uh-oh.
I'm just waiting till like after all of this, to actually do it.
Yep.
Um,
Because you don't really go
yeah,
many
like I
places.
don't I don't know how to do it, but
Yeah.
like my friend Jason, he'll come over and we can do it together because he
Right.
knows how to. So learning experiences. I like to, never mind. But yeah. Um
I'm like,
yeah. So I tried to start the car,
Didn't
did
work.
not work. So I thought I was gonna be stuck there. But God had other plans. I prayed. My car did start.
Well, that's
No faking.
nice.
I was like, huh? It was like 2 seconds of like getting real frustrated. And then I prayed and I was like, all right, God, I need this. I need to get home for my
I need to
sanity.
get home. My mom wants her food, and
For my sanity,
and
I
so you don't
need to
sleep in the
get
parking lot of wherever you are.
cold peppers.
Well, that would have been dumb. So
Speaking of sleeping outside,
Mhm.
um, have you heard about the people protesting in Michigan?
I try not to see any of that because it's stupid.
It is.
People
So
showing their stupid fucking hair.
yeah, like that was like okay. So it's been mad people in Michigan protesting,
Mhm.
and they've been protesting like not like a peaceful protest. This is not peaceful by any means. Like
Right.
it's videos of them like yelling at doctors.
That's smart.
It's videos, right? It's the videos of them like going around and just like they have guns. Like, and I'm not talking about like pachoo pachoo.
Do they
I'm
have
talking about
like
take your
rifles
back
and shit?
off. Yeah, like
Mhm.
put a cat. That's what I'm talking about, right? With a scope. Guns got a scope on them. All
That's
right.
stupid.
And
Okay, time out real fast.
yeah.
Isn't it that Canada just ruled that automatic weapons are illegal now there?
I don't know. I
I'm
didn't hear
pretty
about that.
sure. While you're telling me the rest of the story, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. So they had been protesting like big time. And at first I had read something that said like they were protesting because the only thing that was open was like dispensaries, liquor stores, I think like maybe grocery stores, something like that.
So they're
It was
not
just
good enough with being like high and drunk. They need their hair done like real bad.
yeah, so Michigan was supposedly the site of like the more like super strict rules of engagement for
Yeah,
staying home and everything.
right,
So I was like, at first I was like, okay, I understand, like, because I was like, why are liquor stores and dispensaries like the only stuff that's open?
right.
So I was like, okay, I kind of understand the frustration, but my nigga, rifles?
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessary.
No.
Especially being at like the Capitol building.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
a black person couldn't go to the Capitol building
Ever.
naked. Like we no like couldn't have nothing on. They gonna get shot. But they up here with fully armored, just walking around. We want haircuts.
Hmm. Yeah,
And they
like we need to
just
open. I mean, I understand certain things. Like I heard, like they couldn't even like if you live by the water, you can't even go on your boat. Well, that's dumb. But like you don't need to go get a freaking haircut. If you don't have any crazy hair stuff going on, go freaking to Walgreens and get something to color your hair and shut up.
bro, and it made me so mad because they were acting like they were the only people going through it. When
Sure.
literally like this isn't even just America going through it.
No,
This
it's
is
the
the
whole
entire
world.
world. And the thing is, you didn't hear about any other country being like, we need our haircuts, let us out.
No, you
Nobody
heard
else.
about people in Italy standing on their balcony serenading each other.
Why in the world? Because I'm not just going to hit on white people. I'm gonna hit on black people as well. I'm make sure everybody gets a little piece.
Okay.
So why in the world are there the whites with the YTS? Why are the whites out here protesting at the Capitol building with automatic weapons? Why are they allowed to do that? Why are
I
they
have no
doing it in the
idea.
first place? Like I only heard one person say anything of validity, and it was a lady. She was like, "Hey," she was like, "Yo, like I serve a higher power. I understand like what's going on, but I serve a higher power. I know He's got me. I know He's keeping me." I was like, "Yeah, twinkle twinkle." She was
Is
like,
this a white
"Honestly."
person?
Yeah. She was like, honestly, I just want to go back to work because I have to provide. Like she was like, that's all I'm trying to do. She was like, I would just like to go back to work for that reason. And I was like, I feel that. I completely understand. Like I
Sure.
understand you not like violent enough. You just like, yo, I want to go back to work because I need to provide, like I serve a higher power. I understand. Like if
Hmm.
I get sick, you feel me? Like it is what it is. Like I was like, okay, I get that.
Okay.
I can vibe with you. But everybody else, the coronavirus is not real. It's not happening. Bro, it's been people like,
Dying.
yes. And
Hmm.
like people at my church have had family members dying.
Yeah, this girl I
Like
work with,
this is
her family members died. It's like, come on.
yeah. Like, and so for people to just be like, we need haircuts, let us out. For them to say that in the midst of millions of people dying
Hmm.
around the world on a global scale, like
Right.
that's ignorant.
Ignorant, selfish. I mean, I could keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then
No, agreed. But no, it is. It's Canada bans assault weapons. Which I think is necessary everywhere. Why would you have an assault weapon
yeah,
unless you were in the army, which okay, that's a different topic.
yeah,
But why would you have that? I don't understand.
yeah.
All that
Right.
is a problem.
I mean, when it comes to like, because people are always like, "Yo, the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment." I
Sure,
was
but
like,
do
yeah,
you
like
hunt a
you
deer with an assault weapon?
right. I was like, you do have the right to bear arms, yes, but my nigga, like they weren't walking around with AR-15s when the Constitution was written.
No.
Like that wasn't what my
It's
nigga.
like
They
a
had
bow and
muskets,
arrow.
right? They had muskets and bow and arrows.
Hmm.
Like that's not the same thing.
Mm-mm.
You ever use the musket? You got one shot. You
One
gotta
shot.
you you
That's
got to
all you
do
got.
that motion to get the gun back to working. All right, you don't got to do that. You just fire off 30 rounds, hit one of these, throw it, up, and then you go back to hitting 30 rounds.
Yeah.
Not the thing. You don't need a assault weapon, assault
No.
rifle.
No.
Like
Well,
now, if
and
you want to have a pistol or something, do your thing.
yes, but yeah,
A little
if you
Uzi.
have a yes.
You don't
Um
need an AK though.
no you don't. But I guess there was like a big shooting there and that's why they were like this is ridiculous, like
Respect.
banning.
I
And
read. I'm my
why
back
not?
way.
No, I'm just saying, like, I just don't understand. Like, why are we so behind the times?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I read this fact that it said and it's kind of obvious, but it was like this is the longest time that there hasn't been a school shooting. Um
No one's at
like
school.
since like 2012 or something like that. And I was like, it shouldn't have taken like the school shutting down
No.
for there to not be a school shooting. And this
No.
wasn't even like deep into like I don't even think I think school was still in session at that time.
Okay.
And they were like talking about it closing, but we weren't
Hmm.
even deep into like quarantine or something I'm pretty sure this was like in March.
Okay.
And
So
so
it's
I
at the
was just like,
beginning.
yeah, I was like, that's wild. Like it took
Well,
all of
yeah,
this. It was like, yeah, I was just like, that's crazy.
that's insane.
Yeah.
It's like the only
But
way to
yeah,
stay safe is to stay home. Come on,
right,
guys. Get it together.
right. And then there's also this thing going on um about wait. Before I even get to that, then there's also I saw, and I think Atlanta, like it was like this huge line of black people like waiting outside for some shoes outside this mall.
What?
And I was like, bro,
Like,
come on.
did they have shoes already and they just wanted a special pair of shoes?
No, it was like the launch of like some Jordans, and they was
Okay, that's
waiting
stupid.
like it was, I mean, hell of people waiting in line just to get some Jordans. I was like, bro, you making it hard for me to be like, yo, the whites are out here protesting, saying, let me get my hair cut. And then y'all down here talking about, let me get these shoes. That's not important right now. You can online shop. I just bought some clothes. Online shopping. We have e-commerce for a reason.
We do. And I've been using it too much. So,
I have not. That was the first time I bought some clothes or anything in
woo.
a
Well, I
very
haven't
long
bought any
time.
clothes, but I bought other things.
I don't be
Um,
buying nothing. I,
yeah.
I nah.
Um, I thought malls were closed and waiting in line for a special pair of shoes right now, really close to each other, is stupid.
Yeah. Very
Mhm.
extremely. It's in Atlanta, and at Atlanta like opened up like last week or something like that.
Completely.
I think so. If it's not completely, it's like a great deal of ways, because they were saying like the governor, no, Georgia opened up. The governor of the mayor of Atlanta was like, yo, don't do it. Like don't go out there. And if you do, it's on you. But I'm telling you, don't do it. She was like, Atlanta, this is a black woman. She was like, Atlanta, do not do it.
Hmm.
Don't. And it was a whole like Twitter thing about like I forgot what the mayor of Atlanta's name is, but they were saying like Auntie, whatever her name is, said don't
Hmm.
do it. And I was like, that's actually
Pretty
hilarious.
funny. Yeah, but nobody listened.
Nah,
So,
I'm
whatever.
trying to find the video to send to you of people waiting outside, because that really blew me. Um,
Crowds gather outside Atlanta Mall to purchase Air Jordans after shelter in place order is lifted. Standing outside the food court. Oh my God, that is dumb.
yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah,
I mean, everybody is super close. They're like on top of each other pretty much.
yeah.
Some have masks on, but some, nah. This one lady's
I
like
mean,
this. That's not gonna do shit, lady.
nah.
And here they are inside. They're like, "What?"
No, yeah, it,
Outside Jimmy Jazz.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was just
There's
like,
many things that are stupid about that.
that's not. Don't do that.
I
It's not.
wanna. I wish thered be a poll later to see how many of those people get coronavirus. It's not funny,
I
but you know
I
what
don't
I
like, because the thing is, like, I don't want to wish that upon nobody, but y'all are
No.
like wishing it upon yourselves
Yeah.
by doing something like this. Like, why? For what reason are we protesting safety and trying our safety at the same time? Like,
Hmm.
I don't get it. But then in
Hmm.
the midst of all this, you have this thing. Um, so you've heard the term Karen, like we're like she's a Karen.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that means, like when somebody calls somebody a Karen, is meaning like she's a white lady that wants to call the manager. And if you she's a white lady that has a problem with
Like,
everything.
calm down, Karen.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's just calling you a overzealous white woman. It's pretty
Right.
much what you're being labeled as. And so there is someone who tried to say that calling somebody that is the same thing as calling somebody the N-word.
Stupid.
And that was probably by far
The
one of
whitest thing to do.
you took the words right out of my mouth.
I mean, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
Again, minorities cannot be racist. Cannot.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm gonna read you the picture and the tweet.
Okay.
So the
How are you
picture
gonna
says
read me a picture?
it has words. So the words,
You can read?
the picture says, the picture says, stop saying Karen. Karen is a sexist and racist term equivalent to the N-word for white women. Calling a woman Karen is an attempt to get rid of women's rights to stand up for themselves.
That's stupid.
Yes, the K word is stronger than the N word, at least currently. Misogyny and patriarchy has been around longer than slavery.
Nope.
Just don't use either, okay?
Okay,
No.
so misogyny has been around for quite a while. Like back in the day, it's like, wear your fucking hoop skirt and go make me a sandwich. Okay, that's
Yeah.
stupid, right? Or wear the bustier and whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But that wearing clothing and still living in a house and being treated as an individual is completely different than slavery, where you are not even a person.
Yeah.
So being a semblance of a person as to being not a person,
Yeah.
not comparable.
I don't even understand like how that thought could be like plausible to put the first off, Karen is an actual name. Karen is an actual name.
Yep.
You've never heard of anybody called nigga. You've never went up to somebody and you was like, hey, what's your name? And they was like, nigga. No,
No,
never happened. Never in the history
that'd be
of,
horrible.
in Cat Williams' words, never in the history of niggerdom have you ever met somebody named nigga.
That is awful, that whole entire sentence.
So, so I don't understand how you could say something like that. I just,
It's coming from
I
a
don't,
place of
I don't get it.
privilege.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like, and then that going back to what we were just talking about, people protesting, they was like being kept in the house is slavery. No,
No, because
that's
slaves weren't even kept in the house. Just so
no.
you know that
Because here's the thing,
they were
bro.
like in a barn, maybe.
Slavery was a thing before there was slavery in North America or
Sure.
United States. Let's just so her saying misogyny and patriarchy have been around longer than slavery. Both of them have been around for hellas. Like
Right.
neither of these are new terms or new like inventions. These were
No,
not created yesterday,
no,
right?
no.
And they were created way before the United States.
Right.
And so I think that whole statement is just dumb.
I think it all boils down to ignorance and privilege. And
Yeah.
when those two things are combined, it's disastrous. So
I also feel a sense of like of people trying to like put themselves like almost trying to like recreate the Black experience. Like to put it at the same level.
sure.
Like, okay, we're locked in the house, slavery. No.
No.
What she just said about the word Karen. The Karen is the same thing as the N-word. No, the N-word was invented to keep a group of people. Like, this was a word created just to upset people. Karen is an actual name. You name your kids Karen.
I know quite a few Karens.
I know a Karen. I know a Black Karen. Like,
No,
so
that's funny.
I'm like, yo, you actually I know two. No, her name was the other one's Kim. I know one Black Karen. But yeah, like, why do you feel the need to be like to like try to like but validate yourself like by using Black people's experiences, whether it be them right now or like their ancestors? Like, I don't understand
I don't
why do you have to measure up to us?
Yeah, I don't think, once again, it's privilege. It has to be. And it's also it's another way to put Black people down. If you want to say that being white where you're here, okay, nobody can see it. Well, if you're listening, guys, I'm up here and Black people are down here, right? And so then if you're like, oh, but I'm suffering too and I'm at the same experience, well, you're demeaning Black history and you're
Yeah.
demeaning just Black people in general by saying that you with white privilege are now suffering as much
Yeah.
as people that suffered through slavery, which
Yeah.
is ignorant.
Cause like I've talked about my haircut. Like right now, my beard is eating my face. I'm just
Right.
gonna be honest. My beard is eating my face. But like I understand that there are families who probably aren't eating right now.
Sure.
There are families, there are mothers and fathers who want to take care of their kids, but they can't. Like they might not have the accessibility to, you know, fresh foods. They might not have the accessibility to diapers for their kids or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
They might not have a vehicle to get anywhere.
Right. So it's so much bigger than just like being kept in the house. And it's so much bigger than being called a Karen. It's so
Or
much, the
being
N-word runs
unkempt.
so much deeper. Right. Like
Like, who cares?
I look like a baby koala right now. If you don't believe me, make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube, Unapologetically Human.
And I don't
see
wear
how I'm
makeup
out here
anymore.
living. Like, y'all, it's so much bigger, y'all. And so even though I joke around about like how I'm looking right now, these are just jokes. I understand
Yeah.
that it's so much bigger on a
It's
global
just,
scale.
yeah. It's what it,
This
I mean,
isn't just a St. Louis thing, a Michigan thing, an Atlanta thing. This is a full global, except for Africa, because they out here doing their thing. All right.
parts of Africa have it.
For real? I hadn't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
I thought they were saying like Africa's gonna be the hardest hit next, and they were trying to like give them like billions of dollars in funding and stuff, and to try to help, quote unquote, help them out,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just another way to keep them behind by keeping them owing to somebody else.
Sure.
Um,
Keeping everybody down.
yeah. But yeah, nevertheless, guys, that's my TED talk. Sorry.
I have one
Go ahead.
thing. Have you heard of the murder hornet?
From like China or Japan or something like that? Yeah,
Japan.
yeah. I was just told about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. They decapitate bees and they kill entire hives of bees. That's
You
what they do.
gotta explain what it is. You gotta explain what it is.
So a murder hornet is like at least 2 inches, I guess, and it has a stinger that can go through a beekeeper suit. So it can actually, if you're stung multiple times as a beekeeper, you can die too. And I think in 1 year it killed 50 people in Japan. I don't know. Don't quote me, but somewhere there's 50 people who died in Japan from murder hornet. Maybe it was over a couple years. I don't know, but it happened. So murder hornets are now here in the US. I think they're in Washington right now. And scientists are trying to get a hold on this situation before they completely eradicate our bee population, which is going to eradicate humanity.
Yeah.
So
how did they get here?
They don't know.
That's like snakes on a plane. Somebody was putting them snakes on that plane. Somebody was bringing these hornets over.
Well, the guy on this show too is like, because we need one more thing to worry about.
Honestly.
Murder hornets.
Honestly. You want to keep me inside? Put a hornet outside. Because Kayla told me, you're right. No, just any type of hornet. It ain't got to be a murderous hornet. It could be a peaceful hornet. I'm like, nah, brother, keep that peace over there.
They're creepy, and they have like all gold face, like the whole face is gold, and they're big.
So you got these hornets out here looking like Rey Mysterio. Do you know who that is?
No.
Rey Mysterio is.
Is it like a superhero with the gold face or gold mask?
He's an old wrestler.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's a wrestler, and this joke is really funny. You're about to laugh with me. I refuse to be the only one laughing at this. Guys, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube. This is Rey Mysterio.
Oh, yes, it looks like that. Absolutely. Just more gold, but yes, it looks like that. That's sick. Man. Yep, that's it. That's what crazy. They look like. Yep.
She told me about it yesterday. I saw it was at the gas station, and there was a wasp or hornet or something like that about that big. And I was like, this ain't no normal.
You're like, it's a murder hornet. Mm-mm.
Nah, yeah, that's crazy though.
Yep.
Yeah,
Crazy. All right. We're done with the news. That's been
yeah.
our news corner, everyone.
Do, 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 do,
All
do.
right. So, what are we going to talk about today?
Oh man, we're gonna be talking about forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
We're gonna be talking about that forgiveness.
Yep.
Um,
Which is the action
and
of
of
forgiving or
forgiving.
being forgiven.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting conversation. I'm pretty excited for it, actually.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. So, I kind of want to start with, do you think that human beings have the capacity for change?
Do
Start
we
deep.
have do
The
we have the
capacity for change.
capacity for change?
Mm-hmm.
That is a deep question.
Mm-hmm.
In ourselves
Yeah.
or just in general?
I mean, isn't that kind of the same thing?
No.
Okay.
I think we do. I think everybody has the capacity to be able to make a change. Yes.
Okay.
Like, if you're lazy, you can, set a schedule or something, try to get yourself out of that procrastination and stuff like that. Like
Yep.
Michael Jackson said it best. I'm talking to the man in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make the world a better place, you look at yourself and make a change.
Change.
Mm-hmm. Na 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 na.
That's right.
Yeah,
Good
we
job.
do. I definitely think we do. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's situational, but I think that everybody can change their mindset.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of change has to do with mindset. So,
Mm-hmm.
or
Definitely
almost all probably.
agreed.
I mean, some could be genetics, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was listening to an episode of Criminal,
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite podcasts, which there was this chick on there. Her name is Dr. Delia Umana, and
Mm-hmm.
she grew up in Nigeria.
Gotcha.
And she is now, so this chick is badass. She is a deputy director and clinical instructor at Harvard Law School's Criminal Justice Institute,
Mm-hmm.
first Nigerian to be appointed as a professor at the school, and is now clinical professor of law at Harvard.
Gotcha.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one thing she was saying, she kind of started like, she grew up in Nigeria, right? And she said that in Nigeria, like if somebody did something wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's much more like communal there. So people are like, okay,
Yeah.
since there's this person did something, let's help him or let's help
Yeah.
her come together. And if they're not successful, it's a failure on everyone. And
Yeah.
then kind of in the United States, though, we're like, oh, you did that, well, you need to go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not here to support each other in the same way that other developed countries are.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying that the US makes 5% of the world population, yet we incarcerate 25% of our inhabitants. So that's crazy. So
Yeah.
it's very like a persecution. I feel like if you do anything wrong, you're persecuted instead of being helped. And then that's kind of what she was saying. Like, she lives here. She grew up in a completely different
Yeah.
environment, but I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyway, she was talking about the different ways that we view forgiveness and that we view people that should be forgiven. So there's one case that stuck in her mind. It was about a little girl, and she was a public defender. So this little girl, 9 years old, is at school. She takes a, quote, dangerous weapon, which is a book, and she throws it at her teacher when she's throwing like a tantrum,
Mm-hmm.
freaking out. Throws it at the teacher. She automatically has to go to the principal's office. Then they arrest her. A 9-year-old. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either.
But they did. They took her to the courthouse, and then the professor goes in and she's like, I'm your public defender. And she tries to explain things to her. And the little girl's like, where's my grandma? And she's like, I'm really hungry, actually. Do you have anything I could eat? She has no freaking idea. She's 9. So people
Yeah.
are like, oh, that's forgivable. Like, but then say, what about an evil adult, right? How
Mm-hmm.
people don't see adult mistakes as forgivable, but children's mistakes we usually do. And she was kind of saying, we were all children once. So we probably came from either an abusive situation, neglectful situation, something which has led to our, quote, evil doings. So why is a child forgivable, but somebody who's grown up from childhood not forgivable? What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Um, I I like the thought process behind that, like that everybody is forgivable. You know you know I'm here for the forgiveness. All right.
Uh,
I had never thought about that though. That's an interesting point. Like
yeah.
that like why are we so like full force
Hmm.
on forgiving a child and just being like, yo, this is how you actually do it. But you're wrong, but I forgive you. This is how you actually do it. But then with an adult, I think it's just I think we assume, well, not necessarily assume, but we're just like, yo, nigga, you should already know.
Right.
Yeah, and then because of that, like you're less patient with the adult. I think there's a patience issue there as well.
I bet. Yeah.
But I
Well, and
like
she,
the word you used was prosecution earlier. I like that.
I like how she says, you need to understand the prism in which people view life. I thought that
Yeah,
was great. I was like, that she's so smart.
yeah,
So like she said that when people are, um, doing wrong, that it's usually a cry for help, and maybe we should help them instead of punish them. But
mm,
it's so about punishment here, and I don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to change, because look at what we were just talking about this entire time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, but then I go to the question: is there anything that somebody can do that's not forgivable?
Um, my answer is no.
Okay.
It's as difficult as it is to say no. Um, why am I about to cry?
Oh no.
As difficult as it is for me to say no, um, I believe that everyone is like both everybody has the capacity to forgive, but then also everybody um should be forgiven, right? So like if
Right.
somebody wrongs me, um I need to forgive them because not only is that um does that like hinder my relationship with God, but like that also hinders my relationship with other people. Um, because like I'm forgiven. So how can I not forgive somebody else for wronging me when I wrong God every day? And that's God. And he still loves me. He still forgives me every day. He gives me breath. You feel me? So
Hmm.
for me to not forgive this person,
Hmm.
um, it's like a slap in the face. There's actually a verse that says that like that you should it was like
I know it.
somebody wrongs you, you should forgive them. And then one of the disciples asked Jesus, well, how many times should we
70 times
forgive?
7.
Yeah, 70 times 7.
Guess who told me
And
that?
your mom?
No, this Nigerian lady.
Yeah. Okay, keep
She's
going.
super religious. Well, she's like, she said that she tries to view things from her Christian beliefs,
Yeah.
and
Same. Isn't that great?
she's really
Isn't that
cute.
special?
It is. But she said that, she's like, Phoebe Judge was like, "Are you forgiving?" And she's like, "Okay, I want to say yes." She's like, I try and do what Jesus says, and I
Yeah.
try and, lead the way that, he wants me to, and like, I forgive the way that he says. And then she said that verse, and she's like, I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, but I definitely try,
Yeah.
so
Cause like I would want somebody to forgive me if I wronged them, you
right.
know? So it's just that it's that same thing. It's that same way of thinking. Like
Well,
I feel it.
she was even saying, she's like, the most egregious thing, like say it's a man kills and rapes a child, and people are like, that is unforgivable.
Yeah.
Well, there's different type, like punishment can be a part of forgiveness. So
Yeah.
maybe that person's punishment is a life in jail or a life in prison, but that doesn't mean that they can't be forgiven, because punishment can be a part of forgiveness. So I don't know, it
Yeah.
was just it was really interesting to hear everything that she was saying about this.
There was a oh my bad.
No, go ahead.
There was a I think it was a like a YouTube video or something. I don't remember what I was watching or whatever, but it was basically like this kid killed um his he killed another kid, and then the mom went to like was visiting the kid in jail.
Okay.
She was going and visiting the kid in jail like every so often, you know, like helping him out, talking to him, all those different types of things. And then when
Hmm.
he got out, she gave him a place to stay.
Hmm.
Um, And then she helped him get a job. And then did she ask if she could adopt him?
It
It was
felt
something like that. Like she pretty much like adopted him, like not just like I'm adopting you and like, but like went through like the whole process of like adopting him.
hmm,
Um, and that blew my mind, man, because I was just like, yo, like he killed your son, but she was just like, yo, yeah, like I had to forgive you. There's another one, same and kind of the same thing. I think a guy had killed someone's daughter, and like the father like went to the jail and like sat down. He was like, yo, it took me a very long time to come and talk to you. But I
right.
just wanted to let you know, like, I forgive you. Like, because look at that. I just thought about it. First time I spoke at my church, I spoke about forgiveness. Um, and
Was that when you
I
had your shoes and all that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I had said this quote, and it's unforgiveness is like drinking poison, hoping that the other person dies, because it hurts
Mm,
you.
yeah.
It hurts you. Like in the end, it hurts you. Like even if you're not a Christian,
Hmm.
even if you're not a Christian and you don't have the same like belief system as me and other people and everything, like it still hurts you to not forgive somebody, because like you're still carrying around that baggage of like that unforgiveness. So that can carry on into your other relationships. That can carry on into like in anywhere that you're carrying that baggage. It can hurt other people because you have a scar or an open wound from something in
Right.
the past.
Right. No, that's true. Um, okay, there's another chick, Martha Minow, and she
I like her name.
is Martha Minow. She teaches Harvard Law School. She's taught there since '91. Um, she is smart. I mean, they both are, but this chick, she wrote this book and she's super smart. But anyway, she said it's hard to forgive when your sense of worth, quality, and dignity is in jeopardy. The other person needs to try to make an amends, but an exchange has to be made instead of like somebody coming up to you just kind of being like, "Hey, you gonna forgive me?" Like, and putting their hand out first. Like the person that's been wronged needs to be the one that comes to this, like you don't have to forgive somebody, but they have to come to the recognition that that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
um, but then she was saying that what about expecting, people of color, so minorities, women, black people, other types of people, I'm sure, but we expect them to forgive more easily. And she said that yes, and that's like a serious concern, that it's almost like you're expected to forgive. So people that have been wronged more uh, seem like when you have less power, you're supposed to be reaching for that power, even though you're never going to get it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's
It's interesting,
interesting.
isn't it?
Yeah, not something that I kind of pondered before.
Hmm. And she
So you're saying
says,
like go ahead.
so she's saying like forgiveness has to be a choice,
Right.
and if it's
Oh,
forced,
definitely.
it's forced, it's not forgiveness. And it's like a powerful thing to be able to forgive and to be forgiven. And it's hard work. It's not easy to do, but a lot of times it's like, say a white person wrongs a black person, it's kind of like, well, you know why would you forgive me? Like,
I got you.
and I'm not saying everybody, I'm just giving an example.
No, yeah.
But it's almost like, well, the black person's like, yeah, oh, I forgive you, but like you're supposed to, or a woman is supposed to forgive her husband or a friend or a child or whoever. It's just, she's saying that minorities, people that are more oppressed, seem to, and that have less power, are seemingly the ones that are almost forced to forgive first instead of somebody that has all the power.
Yeah, I got you.
I know it's kind of complicated.
Yeah, it is. One thought I had, just off jump, when you said like the person has to choose to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely very true.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is a daily choice, and this is just me talking from my own experiences and my own hurt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a daily choice. You definitely have to wake up every morning and be like, yo, I am not this situation.
Right.
and I'm not going to let this person or this situation hold me in place, so I have to forgive and move on.
It's hard work and it's not easy to forgive. But she did then bring in religion.
Mm,
So she was saying every religion or philosophy has found a way to forgive on a societal level. Interpersonally, it allows people to move on. Every person, society, community is imperfect, and forgiveness is a recognition of being imperfect.
yeah,
So, I mean, I think there's probably different things people say in all different religions. I mean, regardless if you're Christian or Buddhist or whatever you are, I bet there's a whole thing about forgiveness.
yeah.
But they were also saying that in schools, people aren't taught to forgive or how to forgive. And she's like, we need to
Well,
spend more time on that. Like, let's teach people how to be decent human beings and to
yeah,
understand that we're imperfect and like we can forgive. We have the power to do that. We have the power. Just because you forgive too doesn't mean you have to go back to where you were. So
that,
say you and I were in like a huge fight or something, and for some strange reason it was like detrimental to our friendship. We could still forgive each other, but we wouldn't go back to where we were necessarily.
yeah.
That
That's
won't
kind
happen.
of that. No, that's kind of where my mind was at though, about like the minority thing.
Mhm.
It's like yes, like we can forgive and definitely should. Doesn't mean that we have to stay in that same situation or that same like um
Like headspace.
yeah, like so that's kind of where my mind was at
Yeah.
with that whole thought. Yeah, definitely, definitely,
Hmm.
definitely.
So I also reached out to a psychologist friend of mine today, and I
My
was like,
first job.
"Hey, I was like, if you have time, what are your thoughts on forgiveness?"
Yeah.
And she's super cool. Her name's Amy. She her company is Balanced Life Counseling.
Mm,
She's super cool, but she said, these are her words. Forgiveness comes from finding compassion for oneself and then for others. It is important to go through a grieving process, which, by the way, is ongoing. But after, say, an initial process, you can move to forgiveness. It also involves acceptance of human imperfections, a
yeah.
lot of feeling uncomfortable emotions, and being vulnerable with the hurt moves one to forgiveness.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. And she even said the whole imperfection thing.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because
So,
when you asked me at first about like forgiveness, that's like my whole thing is like I am nowhere near perfect. And I have been forgiven. So I have no room to be able to be like, yo, he killed. Nah, he don't need to be forgiven. Because my sin is just as bad as his sin. Ain't no levels to this. This sin is sin. It's on the same level. Whether you tell a white lie or you touch a child, sin is sin. You in the wrong. You deserve to be beat down with somebody
with a
with
stick from a
with
motorist
a
in
bag of
India.
cold butter.
Bag of cold
You
butter, that would hurt.
deserve, nah, for real. That's what you deserve. But I
You know,
deserve hell for my sins. But
you're going to hell?
no. I'm not going to hell because I'm forgiven. Jesus died
so,
for me. But go
so,
ahead.
okay, well, let's take away the religion component or
Mm-hmm,
the spiritual component.
mm-hmm,
What if you don't have that and so you're not saying, I should do this, I have to do this because this was done for me. You're just like,
mm-hmm.
okay, I've been wronged. This person, who knows what they did, but they did
Yeah,
something, and you just are having the hardest time forgiving.
yeah. I think it's kind of like the same thought process of like what I said earlier about like drinking the poison.
Hmm.
Like it's still like it's affecting you. Somebody could be in jail and not even be affected by what they did, but
Yeah.
you're still like going through it and you hate this person. It takes energy to hate somebody.
Yes, it does.
Like that's how I don't understand how people are racist. Like you got to walk outside and you just like Negroes. Like I don't understand. So it takes energy to hate somebody. It takes energy just to dislike somebody, even if it's
Yeah,
a small thing, right? I
sure.
could be really frustrated, and that frustration is taking energy, right? If that person walks into the room, I don't want to be in the room no more. It's disturbing my peace. But
Right.
once you forgive that person, it can't disturb you anymore. You're rising above it to say, yo, it's wrong, you wrong, but look, it's not going, even if you don't want to, if you don't even want to necessarily like think of like forgiving that person, quote unquote, but like just like
Mhm.
for just moving on from the situation and being like, yo, it happened, cool. That's still forgiveness. That's still being like, okay, I can't hold on to this any longer.
Mhm.
It's all good. Whatever
So,
whatever happened is and I'm going forth.
do you I'm going forth.
I'm going forth.
Do you think that it's always necessary to verbally forgive somebody, or do you think you can just forgive them in your mind?
Um, I think it's always like the unforgiveness starts in your heart.
Mhm.
So that's where I think it's the biggest thing. I have forgiven people for things that I hated, literally, quite literally hated them for.
Mhm.
But in my heart, I have forgiven them. Never said anything to them because I don't find it necessary, like in my situations, I don't find it necessary.
Mhm.
Because I forgave them for me, and just to
Mhm.
be like, yo, I'm good. Like I'm moving on from it. It's no longer going to affect me. So I don't think it's necessary to always be like, yo, like I forgive you. Um,
Mhm.
but I applaud anybody who does do that, because that's an even like tougher thing, like forgiving
Right.
somebody, but then going to that person and being like, yo, I forgive you. Because that's my whole thing is like it's a heart issue.
Yeah,
It's my
it's true.
it's my take. What do you think?
Um, Man, I think definitely going to somebody and saying, "Hey, I forgive you," blah blah blah. I think that's the thing that I would strive for, is to be able to have that conversation. But I really think it's like situational. Again, I think it depends completely on what it was, when it happened, um, where you've grown from that place, and it's a lot about emotion, a lot about uh, what's it called? Experiences, maturity. It's about all of
Yeah.
those things. So if something happened when you were younger, and then later you're like, oh, now I am processing it as an adult. So
Hmm.
there's not really a place to go back necessarily.
Yeah.
But I guess it just depends. Yeah, it's just situational. It depends on what it is, and like
Yeah.
probably the severity of what it is too. I don't
Yeah.
know if
Yeah.
that's right, but I think that definitely matters, like the severity of it, and also maybe the time that has gone by, because there's certain things that I think that time has just healed, like for me,
Yeah.
and I've just forgiven, and I'm not holding a grudge or whatever, but I don't want to like see that person so that I can talk about it. Like it doesn't need to be relived. It's just done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Can I challenge you?
no.
So just that last part, you said like you don't want to relive it, but like it's done. Do you think that?
It never goes away.
But do you think that not being able to have a conversation about it means that you didn't forgive fully, or do you think that it's just like it's that what you just said, like of like is there a difference between reliving it and like talking about it or talking through it?
Maybe there's a difference between hurt
Hmm.
and forgiveness. You can still hurt or be affected on different levels, I think.
Mm.
I mean, I'm just talking through it. I don't know.
No, yeah, I got you.
Um, yeah, like maybe you can just still like have like hurt about something, but
Mm.
not be like it's be something that's like eating you alive. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah, I
when
got
the
you.
topic comes up, you're like, oh, I'm having some emotions about that. It's
Yeah,
not affecting me nearly what it used to, but I'm still having those emotions about it. And you can talk about it a little bit. I mean, I could talk about whatever.
yeah,
Um, but it's not something you want to necessarily like dwell upon, because then maybe it would like take you to a place that you don't want to be. I don't know.
I got you. I was challenging myself as you were talking and you said that, I started
Mhm.
to challenge myself like, are there things that like I said I've forgiven somebody about, but once it comes up, it's like, did I forgive it? Did I forgive,
I mean, maybe you forgave, but it doesn't take away your pain.
So what do you think is the process of like dealing with that pain? Like, what does that look like to forgive and like deal with that pain?
I think certain pain just never goes away.
Mm,
And that's okay, because it's kind of like if you lose someone. So, like, I
mm,
lost a parent. Well, that's a pain that's never going to go away. I can talk more about it,
I got you.
sometimes more than other times, but it's still something that
Bothers
it's,
you.
well, I mean, yeah, it's not like I don't think about it every day, but it's a pain that,
Yeah,
if somebody really starts talking about it, it feels painful. It's and there's no one to forgive in that situation, but
I
it's
got you.
just what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That's a good way. Yeah, yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So I think that that's, sometimes I have to forgive myself. Like, you go back to think about like how you were at that time with that person, or what was the last thing you said or whatever. And so you feel like, oh my gosh, I should have done this. I should have said this. Why did I
Yeah,
act like that? Well, you can't. I mean, again, situational. What was your maturity level at the time? How much have you grown? Like, how many years has it been? Like, you're like, for me, like, I'm like an adult with children. You know what I mean? That was
yeah,
not at all where I was at that point. So
yeah.
you got to forgive yourself sometimes.
That's real. That's definitely extremely important. Forgiving yourself and
Yeah.
like being able. I think self awareness is something um that we really lack.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because I think that like so many times like we see emotions as like weakness, and this is just like me speaking straight from my heart, because like for you know this for a fact, like
Mm.
dealing with emotions, like I would hide my emotions like until they welled up and I couldn't hold it in no more. That's the only reason you saw me
Mhm.
cry that day, because I came into work and I was just like, oh, I tried to hold it back, almost farted.
I prefer you cry.
And so
um,
like we just like we think of emotions as being like less, and so we try not to
yeah.
deal with them and we just like push them down.
Yep.
um and man, so like I think separating, when we separate the emotions and the forgiveness,
Hmm.
we cause like even maybe even more of a bigger problem in
Maybe. Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah. So being able to accept the emotions,
Yeah.
um, and do the forgiveness.
Hmm.
It's like a tandem.
Yeah,
Yep. But
that's
see, that's
real.
why you need friends like me. All I have to do is look at you and I'm like, what's wrong? Remember that day you were at my house and I was like, what were you going to say? And you're like, oh, I'm like, say it. And then you had to tell me your story because I knew.
I don't even remember about that, what that
Hmm.
was, but yeah, sure.
Yep. It happens. Okay. So one other thing. So what about somebody, so like a president, say, I
Yeah.
can't remember their exact situation, but say there was something that happened in the past. The Tuskegee experiments, is that what it's called?
Oh, Tuskegee?
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee?
Shut up, fuchsia.
Tuskegee? The
Fuchsia,
Tuskegee.
fuchsia, fuchsia, fuchsia.
But-
Fuck off.
Tuskegee. I got you.
Fuck you. I almost said something so mean. Okay,
Tuskegee.
shut up, fuchsia. We both have said some really stupid words on this. What
But
is it? Tuskegee.
this time is you.
And I'm the smart one. No, just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Okay,
Good.
just had to get you back for making fun of me. um, how do you say it again?
Tuskegee.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us what that is. Do you know?
Are you saying what is Tuskegee or?
Like the experiment. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
oh, yeah, and Tuskegee. I forgot where Tuskegee is. I think it's in like, I don't know, but
I don't know.
Tuskegee is a HBCU. But they
Tuskegee.
were they were experimenting on black men. They were injecting syphilis
Yes.
um into black men and just like pretty much seeing what would happen. And they weren't saying, I don't think they were, no, they
They
were, I
didn't tell
forgot what
them.
they were saying it was,
I don't know, but they
but
did not tell them
yeah,
what
they
they were
didn't tell
doing.
them it was syphilis.
No.
And so they injected syphilis into black men to pretty much see what was going to
So,
happen.
they're like a lab rat.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess Bill Clinton, when he was president, he apologized for that. And so there's a whole discussion around like, is it his place to do
Yeah.
that? As the president, I guess he was feeling like, hey, like I'm in charge of this nation. Um, this is something that happened that was a horrific situation in our past. I'm going to apologize for that as being a leader of our nation. But is it his place to do that? Is that actual forgiveness that can be had by those people that were involved, involved in this whole situation? Like, are they forgiving President Clinton? You know what I mean? Like, that's not what can happen. So is it his place to apologize?
My immediate thoughts are yes and no.
Okay.
Because like it was bigger than just like the president.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than one person that did
Right.
that. Like this was the American government that did that.
Right.
So for somebody in the American government to come and be like, "Yo, I know this happened years ago, but I don't know the year difference between when he was president
I
and
don't
or anything
either.
like
I'll
that."
Google it while you're talking.
I got you, but
Tuskegee.
um, but I do know that like even just a remote acknowledgement of it happening, because there are so many things that have happened to minorities, whether they be Hispanic, whether they be Black, whether they be Native American, Asian.
Mm.
Like there have been so many different atrocities that have happened that get swept up under the rug. So I think even just the
Damn.
acknowledgement of one president,
Mm-hmm.
and him being the head of the government and him apologizing for it is at least a step in the right direction. I can't say
Right.
whether it's for him to or not, but it's at least a step in the right direction, you know.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. This says, okay, oh my God, from 1932 to 1972. What the hell?
Dang.
How did that last 40 years? And this says by the end of the study in 72, 74 of the test subjects were alive. Of the original 399 men, 28 had died of syphilis, 100 were dead of related complications, and 40 of their wives had been infected, and 19 of their children were born with congenital syphilis. Good job, America.
Yeah. So things like that definitely need to be acknowledged. I think
Mm-hmm,
when we talk about last week with having Kelly on
mm-hmm,
and talking about, like things being taught in school when we were talking about Black History Month, like
mm-hmm.
I don't think Black History Month should solely be what it is. Like
Like about
not
Martin Luther King.
not even just about Martin Luther King. I think that we try to have the good without the bad.
Right.
And the only bad we try to have is like slavery. And I'm not even talking about like Black people necessarily, like us trying to, like, I'm talking about like people in general. We don't want to hear like the bad. We always want to hear like, oh, like Rosa Parks did this and then Martin Luther King did this. Like we need the full picture
Mm-hmm.
of Black history. Like we need the entire, we need the beginning, the middle, the end. We need the footnotes. We need the author. We need all of it to get the full picture and the full story of what's going on and what's happening. Because there's, like I said, there's so many. Y'all look up the Devil's Punch Bowl. Like there's so many things that have happened that nobody really knows about. Look up Black Wall Street.
Right.
And so like, I mean, the Trail of Tears, we talk about the Trail of Tears, but we really don't like talk about it.
Right.
That is horrible. That is
Absolutely.
that is
It's like a
just
trail of death.
yeah, like we talk about America being like how like America started as being like this great thing. No, they came from Europe.
Pillaged and raped.
They pillaged and raped all throughout the country, all Native American tribes. They then brought African people and people from different like Caribbean areas and things like that, and spread us like all over the world, like screwed up our whole ethnicity and things like that. So now we're confused as to like where now we got the diaspora. Like so this is it's much deeper, you know. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that I applaud Bill Clinton for that, because that is a step in the right direction. One, in forgiveness, and two, in acknowledging the atrocities that America commits, because a lot of students don't know about that. A lot of people don't know about that.
Right.
So if we taught things like that in school, if we taught the good and the bad in school, and we taught the bad as bad as it is in
Mm-hmm.
school, I think we would be at a much different place.
Agreed.
And that's my TED talk, because I'm finna get mad and cry or something like that. I got a lot of different emotions going on right now.
You know what's interesting though? One of the things you were saying, like, for Black History Month, it's like we're just all focused on like the good, the good, the good. But then
Yeah,
when it comes to everyday news, the whole phrase "if it bleeds, it leads," that's
yeah,
the news.
yeah,
So we are looking for those stories. It's like we don't want to hear about the puppy that was saved. We want to hear about how many people are dying of coronavirus. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or how many people have, there was a horrible accident and blah 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 blah. It's
yeah.
never like a good I don't know, like a feel good story. And when it
Nah,
is, it's like they're like, "Oh, feel good story of the week." It's like, okay, there's other things that are good that are happening.
yeah.
There's a lot of bad shit too, but it's like,
If you only, that's what I'm saying. You got to have the bad and the good. If you only
right,
focus on the bad, you're gonna get a skewed point of view.
yep, like balance. Need to have a little bit
Yeah.
more balance, I think, in general.
Cause like that, if you look at the movie Anchorman was a comedy, yes, but the like thought behind it, like he started reporting on a car chase, and people was just like, "Yo, this is what is going on?" And like that's where that whole like if it bleeds, it leads thing kind of like goes from. Like people want to hear the Chick-fil-A. I don't want to wish anything bad on Chick-fil-A. Never
They want
mind.
to watch
They want to hear
OJ
the
Simpson drive away in his red
yeah,
Bronco for
yeah.
days. They're like, let's watch that again.
Yeah, they want to hear, oh, the minority communities of America are doing this, this, and this, and then they want to wag their finger and be like, ah, should have went to school, should have tried harder, should have
Hmm.
something. You know, it's just
Hmm.
it's so easy to listen to bad stuff and then just be like, ah, but then not acknowledge any of your bad stuff, you know, and taking it back to forgiveness, same thing. It's so easy to look at somebody and be like, oh, you wronged me. Like you're in the wrong. You don't deserve my time. You don't deserve anything. But then somebody comes to you and they say that same thing to you, you're gonna
Hmm.
be upset. So
Hmm.
forgive that person in front of you so that you can be forgiven. Even if you're not a Christian, use that same concept, because you only hurting yourself. Promise you.
True. It'll eat you up.
Like me with a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I'm sitting in
That's
front
right.
of Chick-fil-A sauces. That's fine. Y'all, if you have never,
Oh, I was going to
oh,
say,
oh,
tell everybody what you did.
woo, yo, I need
This is
everybody
gross, guys.
right now. Go to Chick-fil-A.
Don't do it.
Chick-fil-A, you need to pay me. Go to Chick-fil-A. All right, in Jesus' name, get some Chick-fil-A sauce. Let me show you. All
Yuck.
right,
So gross. When
this
he
is what
told
you
me
do.
this, I was like, oh, what the hell?
You get a spicy sandwich first. Get a spicy sandwich.
Spicy chicken
You feel me?
sandwich.
Spicy chicken sandwich. No, I didn't get no pickle because I don't like the pickle. But then
Oh,
you get
so
the
weird.
sandwich, you take it out of the little like baggie that it comes in. Like it comes in a bag,
Like
and then it
it
comes in
comes
a
in like the
smaller sandwich
sack,
bag. Yeah, yeah.
but don't put it in the
So
sack.
no, don't put it in the big, like super big bag that it comes in. No, 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 no. In the little sandwich bag that it comes in, take the patty off, right? Put that on the plate.
You
Split
call it a
cap. All right.
patty.
Why do I keep calling it? Take the chicken breast off of the sandwich, right?
That's better.
Throw the bun to the side on a napkin or a plate or something like that. Don't put it on your counter because you nasty. All right, put it on something like that. Boom, right? Then you take the chicken breast, you put it back in the little bag. Then you're gonna take some Chick-fil-A sauce, boom. Then you're gonna take some Chick-fil-A Polynesian. Polynesian joint,
He's
right?
so excited
And
he's
then
dropping it.
yeah. Then you're gonna dump them both into the bag. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do this little motion right here. You're gonna toss that hoe, right? You're gonna toss it, you gonna
Gross.
toss it in a little bag, right? Like treat it like a little maraca. All right. You're gonna you're gonna put it into the bag
You
and
got
then you're
that
gonna
maraca? Yep.
take it around. All right. Get it all sauced up and nice. All right. It's gonna look at you. You're gonna look at it. You can be like, you sexy. It's gonna be like, thank you. You're gonna take it out. You're gonna put it on the bread. You're gonna take that bite and you're gonna go to heaven. All right.
Sick.
It is delicious.
Have you ever done that before, or was this
Fantastic.
just a new
That was the first time I
discovery?
did it. It was the first time I did it. My friend told me to do it. I did it, and it was fantastic.
Okay, well, I'm glad you were happy.
I was more than happy.
Yeah, I know you
Ecstatic
told me
is the
about it
correct word.
over the phone. You're like, oh my gosh! I'm like, okay, I'm excited now.
Yeah. So,
Yummy. Good, good, good
praise
job.
God.
That's
Indeed.
your food tip of the day.
Yeah.
Great.
But
All right,
yes, guys. Yeah. Any last thoughts, Mandy?
that's all I got.
Got you. Yeah. I have a couple of thoughts. Mandy might get mad at me for this,
Oh,
but we're
for
gonna see.
fuck's sake!
Guys, all right. We're in a time that is pretty confusing. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of anger, you know. There's a lot of just different things going on in the world, right? And I just want you to know that Jesus loves you. All right.
You know why?
I
This I
why?
know.
For the Bible told you.
Yep.
No, for real, guys. Honestly,
Here he
in all
goes.
honesty, in all realness and all jokes aside, like whatever you've done, however bad you feel it may be, like Jesus loves you. He died for you. He died on the cross, rose 3 days
He
later
forgave you.
for you. All right. You are forgiven if you believe that. All right. Real talk. All games, all jokes aside, real talk. Jesus loves you. He
This I know.
died for you. He rose on the
I
third
can't do
day.
it.
And because of that, you are forgiven if you believe that. So walk in your freedom and your forgiveness, bro. Real talk. And not only that, forgive the person behind you that hurt you or to the side of you or whatever. Because you've been forgiven, you can now forgive. All right.
I
So
just thought of like, I don't even know what movie it is, but somebody did something rude and he's like, I forgive
real
you.
talk.
That's Marcus.
Real talk.
Just
No, for
scream
real.
it.
Cause man, no, Mandy, real talking. No, like in all honesty, like you said something earlier that really you said it was about what the lady said. She said
Which part?
she said that um
The prism part?
yeah, the prism, like looking through life from other people's like perspective and their prism,
Yeah.
like honestly, like when me and you, like we have different like religious beliefs or whatever, but like me and you can have a conversation about these things, and like you challenge me to, like, you feel me, like look at things, and I challenge you in the same way. Like I understand like why you have some discrepancies, and that's because
Yes.
we've had a conversation. And so
Right.
when I look at life through your point of view, and I say something and I start talking about Jesus and stuff like that, I know like you crack jokes and stuff like that, but I know you have biblical knowledge, but I
Yep.
also know that like there is like some frustrations you have because of like the background of like, and I completely understand that. And so because of that, like I can look at things and be like, yo, like, not necessarily saying like I'm not patient with people or like I'm not being patient with you or something like that, but like because we have conversations about it, like I can be patient with you and like help you to like, because you already know I want you to like really experience God and not like what you've been taught. Like I really want you to have a relationship. We already have had that conversation. We already know that.
Right.
But like I understand where you're at because of where you've been.
Right. So
And
you're
so
looking through
that's
my prism.
yeah, and that's just the whole thing. It's like I definitely want everybody to understand like that who Jesus is and like actually have a relationship with him. But I understand everybody's not gonna get that, and I also understand that it's gonna take time for other people, just some people, to get it. I understand that.
Well, everybody is at just a different place. Everybody has
Yeah.
seen the world and experienced the world differently.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Grow where
So
you are planted.
yeah. I'm just presenting. I'm a mailman. You feel me? I'm just presenting the mail to you. If you want to accept it, the package, you feel me? Accept the package. If you don't want the package, you feel me? It's not on
Do
me.
we have to sign for it?
You get on my nerves. All right, y'all. Once again, this has been another episode of Unapologetically Human. Definitely keep in touch with us. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your stories. We want to know your heart about forgiveness. All right.
Absolutely.
So definitely follow us and hit us on our socials at You Human Podcast on Instagram,
Yep.
Twitter,
Of course.
and Facebook.
Oh, yes.
But most importantly, guys, all right,
This is the big one.
subscribe to our website. All right. Subscribe to our website because everything that you want is on that website.
Everything.
All right? Merch coming soon.
Yes.
Blog already there.
Yes.
Episodes already there. YouTube
there.
Already there. Social media links to all of that's already there.
All of it.
Subscribe to our website to keep in touch with us. All right.
Yes. We're not sending random emails. It's just whenever like a new episode comes out, it'll be like, hey, guess what? You Human, it's a new episode. You'll be like, cool. Thanks for saying that.
Yes. So definitely you get you and your email over to youhumanpodcast.com. You're going to subscribe to that joint. And then every time, you feel me, new episodes, new merch release, new blog posts, all that. All right. You can find everything Unapologetically Human on our website. You Human Podcast is going to pop up right there at the bottom. youhumanpodcast.com. All right. All right, guys.
All right.
You are beautiful. Stay beautiful. All right. You're forgiven. Stay forgiven.
We forgive you.
I'm trying to think of another one.
Nope.
I ain't got one.
All right.
So stay indoors, stay safe, and
listen to our podcast.
Remember what I said about the chicken sandwiches?
Disgusting. We'll put Marcus's recipe up on our website. Gross.
All right, y'all. Make sure the sandwich is spicy. Get the spicy sandwich. All right, we good.
All right. Bye.
Bye.